It is 5:30 on November 26, 2024. I'm going to call the Morton County Commission meeting to order. Our first item of business will be the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will call the roll of commissioners. We have Commissioner Zachmeyer,
Yes.
Commissioner Buckley,
Yes.
Commissioner Langang,
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell. Here. And myself, Commissioner Boehm. We also have Auditor Rowan up here at the front desk, Sheriff Kirkmeyer, and State's Attorney Copy in the back of the room.
Greetings and
First item will be the approval of the agenda. Add anything under other?
Other than the plat.
Yeah, just leave it as other.
motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the minutes of the previous meeting from November 14th, 2024.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the minutes.
Second.
I got, you guys tied. It's been moved and seconded to approve the minutes from the November 14th, 2024 Morton County Commission regular meeting. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Commissioner Buckley, you have bills this month.
Yes, I did, and I found everything to be in order. I would make a motion to approve the monthly bills and payroll.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the monthly bills and payroll. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? Do a roll call vote. Commissioner Buckley?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Langang?
Yes.
Commissioner Zachmeyer?
Yes.
And myself, yes. Motion carries. All right, we'll move right into our agenda tonight. Our first one up is Natalie Pierce, our Morton County Planner.
Try that again. Good evening, Commissioners and Auditor Ronan. Our first item is the grade subdivision in the southwest quarter of Section 6, Township 139 North, Range 85 West. The applicants are Robert and Tina Grade. This is located north of 37th Street, about 1.5 miles northwest of the New Salem ETA. So that's the edge of the ETA, and this is over here. So this is a 2-lot subdivision. They would like to break off those 2 residential lots from a 40-acre tract. This would create the third and fourth buildable lots in that quarter, which would be the maximum for that quarter. Missouri West Water and More Grand Sioux already serve the residence that is on the parent parcel. They are setting aside the required right-of-way for the road and designating a shared approach with a access easement to benefit both lot owners. Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval, and I can take any questions.
Commissioners have any questions for Natalie?
Ready for a motion, Mr. Chairman?
I am.
I move to recommend approval of the final plat of the short form subdivision known as grade subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential, as the subdivision conforms to the regulations established in Article 7 of the Morton County Land Use Code and conforms to the land use priorities established in the 2045 Comprehensive Plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as grade subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries.
Our second item is the Goither Third Subdivision. This is in the northwest quarter of Section 11, Township 135 North, Range 79 West. The applicant is Chad Gardner. So this had come before County Commission in July. The County Commission had given an approval for this subdivision, but in between then and now, it was discovered that there was a utility pole in the alleyway, and then also could be an issue changing the property line, sharing with the neighbors to the northeast. So the applicant brought back the subdivision not requesting alleyway vacation. So it's here in Fort Rice. This is the former town site of Fort Rice. This is Highway 1806. That's a little bit more zoomed in. So it's this property right here. So on the original plat that was approved, this alleyway vacation had been part of this lot. The neighboring property owners, they have a shed that is sitting in the right of way, and their fence goes all the way out to the edge of the alleyway. And so the applicant wanted to not have to interact with them in terms of moving their fence. So the applicant is requesting a subdivision that is just slightly below our lot size minimum. Planning and zoning did recommend approval. Staff had recommended approving it. It is a move in the right direction in terms of bringing 15 small lots together into one parcel and reducing that nonconformity. And there is enough room for a home and a septic system and so forth. So for that reason, staff had recommended approval and Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval. I can put up a picture of the site too if you want to see photos.
15 lots.
So that's the shed that's sitting, so that was this in the right of way. And that gives you kind of the lay of the land where this lot wraps around, and then the fence line there kind of gives you a picture of what it looks like. So I can take any questions. Yep. So, if this alleyway is vacated, which makes sense, the only reason that alley existed was to serve lots that would be on the interior of the block. You know, if this gets put together, there aren't any properties that can't access their property because this is a street, this is a street. So there's no reason why this shouldn't be vacated, and when and if it is, this property owner would get the half of that and the half of that. And if those two halves, or even one of them, I believe, were incorporated into this lot, then it would become conforming. It's that close to being at the acreage minimum for lots in Morton County.
Mr. Chairman, so Natalie, what would it take to do that? We can't do that, right?
We can if we want to. We can say, we would like you to vacate the alley and take your half and incorporate that into your lot. We can certainly do that. I would have liked to see that happen, but the applicant didn't want to run into an issue where now they're having to ask the neighbor to move their fence, you know, to kind of delineate where their property boundary is. They didn't want to have to deal with that. So given that it's Fort Rice, staff thought that was a reasonable approach, but it's up to you guys.
Well, it's too bad the one property owner built his fence on
And the yeah.
Where is that power pole
So
again?
it's roughly, it's kind of right here, right
Okay.
where the tip of that pen is.
All right.
Right in
There,
the
so
middle.
it's like right in the alley. And, you know, that can be accommodated where, you know, say this lot owner takes their half of the alleyway and then makes a utility easement, you know, for more Grand Sioux to be able to reach it. That's not a problem. They had offered to make a utility easement, you know, accessible to this lot owner to get over to it. And they were not. I basically had given them a deadline to please get back to me so we know how to structure this plat, and they would not get back to me by that deadline, the neighbors. So.
Mr. Chairman, I don't like that the one landowner is, I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's fair to the applicant. That building and those fences are all the way across, and then is it gonna all of a sudden be some type of prescription issue where that northeast lot gets all that right of way? Basically taking it because they put their fences illegally and putting up a building in the, where they shouldn't have? That's my main concern. Is this going to then come back at, well, the county shouldn't have improved it anyway because there's an illegal building there. So even if you keep the easement, you know, because the building's there, do we keep an easement going north-south? Do you keep the easement going east-west? Because you have to get to that power pole. But I don't think it's fair to the applicant. I can appreciate it. I still don't think it's fair. And now those, that alleyway's gotta stay open and the northeast people get to enjoy it. And he can't. Unless I'm not looking at it right, but that's what I see out of this. Because it's fenced off.
Does that shed sit more than halfway across that alley, or is it pretty much right on the line
It'd be like a couple feet, maybe a foot or two.
into the other half?
Yeah. It is, I mean, you know, you saw the picture. It's, could be movable, you know, I mean, I don't know.
I don't know how well
Leave that to
I don't know how well
everyone's
that would move.
Depends on what you move it with.
Yeah. Mark, if you have a comment, we would accept, I would like that.
Good evening, Commissioners. Mark Isaacs with Independent Land Surveying and Engineering. I guess a couple of thoughts to what Commissioner Zach Meyer was talking about is I think that it is an issue that it's county right-of-way, even though it's a 20-foot alley, and there's improvements that have been made in the right-of-way. To me, even though this applicant is petitioning to vacate part of the alley and get rid of the lots, to me that's a separate issue at this time because it's something the county needs to either address or not address. I mean, it's in their right-of-way, it's in your right-of-way, and if there's a building there and the people are occupying it, then it needs to either be moved or vacated. I mean, to me, this is when, what I know about possession rights, this is when the clock starts ticking, is when it's brought to notice. Everybody understands now that this is an issue. So you do have kind of time sensitive now that everybody's been put on notice that there's issues down here. So, you know, I would think if it's to be county right of way, then things should be cleared out of it. If it's not, then it should be vacated. We consulted with an attorney on this, and his opinion was that as far as any possession, it would not start until the alley was vacated. So right now, it's county right-of-way, so you can't adversely possess county right-of-way or rights-of-way. So if you vacate it, then that's when the clock would start to say, well, the building's over the vacated line, so you've got to deal with it. So I guess my point is this, whether this plat gets approved or not, I don't think it has anything to do with the alleyway. I mean, if you don't want to approve the plat because it's a little bit under the square footage, that's fine, but I don't see anything wrong with the plat as it exists. The other issue is how you vacate the alleyway. And if you want to vacate it, you can vacate it, and then Century Code says that if it's within the plat, half of that right-of-way goes to each landowner. And at that point in time, then it becomes their issue of trying to claim that land. They claim the land, it's just if there's possessions that are over the line, they have to deal with it.
Mr. Chairman, question?
Yes.
The dashed line that goes to the north and then kind of goes to the northwest, is that
That's the power line.
that's the power line?
Yeah, so it dead ends right there at that pole.
So the north-south alleyway, we should probably keep open as a utility corridor.
Correct. You would want to retain a utility easement. If you vacated the right-of-way, you can make that into an easement.
Mr. Chairman, I think we should vacate the right-of-way and leave the easement to the north. And then let the two neighbors duke it out about the property line. Unless, Mr. Copy, you're seeing anything, this reminds me of a Tokash Timber Haven mess. And this is just gonna keep coming back and coming back and coming back, eventually, to another county commission. Do you see any way the county can force the removal of that building?
I would recommend that maybe we would start a procedure to vacate the alleyway on the east-west running alleyway.
I'd prefer to vacate it. That's just me.
Is
I
there,
prefer to vacate it.
so this was 15 lots on this one parcel, now that's going to be one. Those other three, is there a house on any of them?
It's a camper.
There was just the shed, and then they have a couple campers and various other sheds and things that are not officially structures, because they can't, it's non-conforming.
Okay, and Mark, you obviously kind of know what this one is. Is that shed movable? I just looked at the condition of it in the picture, so I can't say one way or the other. Do you think it's movable?
It's movable. It's at best a shed. It's not a permanent, I wouldn't call it a garage, I would call it a shed.
Pole barn?
The small one, yeah.
Post frame.
It's just,
It's a post frame with tin siding on it.
is it into the ground? Post?
Posts are, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's, I don't think it's, I guess I haven't studied it that much. I don't know if you can slide it or not.
Yep. That's what I was getting at.
Mr. Chair, according to county GIS, all three of those parcels are the same property owner.
They are.
Commissioners, I see the lot to the property to the west is going to have the same thing. They're building right across the...
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this is the second one we've done in the last 2 years down there to combine lots to make it better, but
There's that. There's that. This one's not in the lines.
so if my question is if they
This
do
one?
that, do you do the plat and then?
Well, the thing is, okay, so if we're gonna enforce the, getting stuff out of the right of way, if we vacate it, then it's not us that's enforcing. It becomes between two property owners duking it out in court. So if we want to tell someone to get their stuff out of our right-of-way, including their fence, then we would not vacate it. We would keep it as a right-of-way. And the timing of this is just tough because I know the applicant wants to just get the thing done and sold, so.
The only thing I would add to that, I've told the client this, one option they do have is if you were to vacate the right of way, which you guys, it's your right of way, if you want to vacate it, you can. It still doesn't mean he has to claim it. So he could own to the center of it and keep the fence there and keep the shed there, and the longer it stays there, the more they're going to possess it. And he would have that right to do that. So just because you would make it so, the only concern I have is the same thing that Natalie did, is if you tie the right-of-way vacation up with this plat, the neighbors have not been very acceptance on dealing with any of it. So trying to, I guess you wouldn't need their signature to
If you do
half and half. You'd just be creating a line with the building
It would be a
over it.
theoretical line,
Right.
as opposed to a line.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to get the county out of it. Well, you know, I wanted to make sure that the applicant is treated fairly. So I guess I'd prefer that we vacate all of them and have a easement for the power line going north-south. And then the two neighbors can decide it, and hey, it's not on us anymore.
Mr. Chairman, that was my preferred scenario that Commissioner Zachmeyer is describing. Of course, you know, that's just the planning side. That's not the applicant having to deal with it, but that makes absolutely the most sense to just divide the alleyway, vacate it, make the utility easement for the pole, and be done.
And like Mark says, he
doesn't have to do anything about
do
it.
anything about it.
Yep, that's true.
He can leave the line with the fence where it's at.
Yep, and if you were to approve this, you can make that the description of what you're accepting, and the plat can be revised easily. Yeah.
Any other questions? I'm hoping somebody has a motion.
We have one, but I don't think it's gonna work, the one we have in our in our P and Z packet.
Mr. Chairman,
You got something written?
I think I can.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the plot of a short form subdivision known as Gwyther Third Subdivision, which includes vacation of the east-west alleyway and the north-south alleyway, as the subdivision reduces non-conformity of the subject properties and abides by the land use priorities established in the 2045 comprehensive plan. And then with the condition that the north-south alleyway be changed to the appropriate utility easement to comply with Morton County standards.
Second.
It's all in there, Natalie?
Yes.
Okay. I will not repeat that motion. We have a motion to approve the plat for the Gwyther subdivision. Gwyther. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Our next item is the Defender 1 and Defender 2 subdivisions. These were so close together, I processed them as one subdivision, but they are two separate lots. The first, Defender 1, is in the southwest quarter of Section 15, and Defender 2 is in the southwest quarter of Section 14, both in Township 139 North, Range 83 West. The applicant is Kevin Miller. So Defender 1 is here, this is 22 acres. Defender 1 is here and it's
3/8.
roughly 12 acres. So this is the interchange, this is all commercial. In our long-range plan, this is slated to be industrial. The rest of this is slated to be agricultural. So neither of these create more than the 4th buildable lot in the quarter section. So both of these are in compliance with our land use priorities for that area. So that is Defender 1. There is rural water and electricity at the farmstead across the road, so that theoretically could be extended. It's a little ways, but that can be extended to serve this subdivision. And Defender 2, so Kovash subdivision is about 1,000 or 1,500 feet that way. And they all have water and power, so again, that could be extended to serve this subdivision. This is very terrain intensive, but there is a buildable area on the east side of the lot where they could have an approach and build a home. So with that, Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval of both of these, and I can take any questions.
They can build here or over here somewhere, because the terrain is rough there.
Commissioners have any questions for Natalie?
You ready?
Yep.
I move to recommend approval of the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Defender 1 subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential, and the subdivision conforms to the regulations established in Article 7 of the Morton County Land Use Code and conforms to the land use properties established in the 2045 comprehensive plan. I should have said Division 2, because I was reading on Division 2.
Defender.
Defender.
Yeah,
I read it wrong, I'm sorry.
it's okay.
So this should be 2. There's a typo there.
So we're doing Defender 1 and Defender 2 in
Yeah,
separate motions.
I guess we're doing them separate, right?
Yeah, we, at Planning and
Did
Zoning,
we
we
do
did them
that separate? I
separate.
didn't remember that.
We did them separate in
Okay.
at P and Z, yep.
So I made the motion for Defender 1 then.
Second.
All right, it's been moved to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Defender 1 and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries. Now we will do Defender 2. And that's the one to the west. Okay, whenever. Separate motion on that one, so.
Okay. I didn't know if you, did you want to put,
Defender 2 is to the east.
East.
Makes
East.
sense.
Okay,
Okay.
did I read it wrong?
there's nothing more you wanted to add to Defender 2?
Nope, it's fine.
Okay.
Yep, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be ready to move, do
Go
a
ahead.
motion.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, move to approve the final plot of the short form subdivision known as Defender 2 subdivision and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential as the subdivision conforms to the regulations established in Article 7 of the Morton County Land Use Code and conforms to the land use priorities established in the 2045 comprehensive plan.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final plat of the short form subdivision known as Defender 2 and a zoning map amendment from agricultural to residential. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank
Hope
you,
you have a
Natalie.
good Thanksgiving week.
You too. Mr. Psyche.
Good evening, Commissioners and Auditor Roan. I'm here before you this evening to request approval for bids for our front-end loader. We had requested and approved the funding for a loader in our 2025 budget, and it'll be used for plowing subdivisions and for loading trucks in various locations. It'll be added to the fleet. And what we did was we requested bids as soon as the 2025 budget was approved, so that we can hopefully minimize the lead time and get everything ready to go so we could get it ordered as soon as this is approved, and then we will take delivery after January 1st of 2025. We accepted bids on October 28th, 2024, and back in last spring when we were first putting our budget together, we contacted both RDO and Butler and came up with a budget number and added a little bit because we had seen so many increases over the previous 4 years. So we plugged in $430,000 for one loader, and we were pleasantly surprised when we received bids because both of them were under our initial budget number. Butler was low at $356,250, and RDO was a little higher at $366,683. So with that said, I took those numbers to the road commission meeting last week, and they recommended approval, and so I would request approval, and so we can get this ordered and get it ready for next year, and I'd be open to any questions you may have.
Any questions for John?
Mr. Chair, you got an idea on when delivery would be then?
They're looking, there's a possibility, if they do have to order and have it delivered, it'd probably be around June 1st, but there's also a possibility they may have one available somewhere else that if it's, another dealership for CAD has it, we could get it after January 1st. So we're looking worst case scenario, probably around the 1st of June.
And our blizzard's gonna hold off until mid-January then, maybe?
What's that?
Then our blizzard's gonna hold off?
I sure hope so,
Okay.
yeah. But it was a very pleasant surprise because we have been hearing of things like, quarterly increases in equipment, and it's nice to see it go down for once. And also, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, we were looking at a 14-month lead time, and now we're getting back more into reasonable lead times, so
Yeah, it's
it worked out well.
Time.
just shy of $74,000 right there.
Yeah.
Any other questions for John? If not, do we have a motion?
Mr. Chair, I move to approve the low bid to Butler Machinery for the purchase of one Caterpillar 950 front-end loader at the cost of $356,250 and authorize the ordering of the loader for delivery after January 1 of 2025.
Second. It's been moved and seconded to approve the low bid for the purchase of one Caterpillar 950 front-end loader from Butler Machinery Company for the low bid of $356,250 for delivery after January 1, 2025. Is there any discussion? Any discussion? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Well, thank you. Just one other sidebar. This is a joystick loader, so it doesn't have a steering wheel. And when we were contemplating last spring, do we get, spec a steering wheel or do we spec a joystick? Well, we were invited up to Butler, and even I was able to run a joystick loader. So it's pretty straightforward and pretty easy to use. So anyway, yeah, it was.
That's why it's cheaper, right? There's no steering wheel.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that because there's a lot of other stuff in it, but it's a pretty remarkable machine. Like I said, I've never run a loader before, but I was able to run that one, so it's pretty good. So, thank you.
Look out, telephone poles.
Mailboxes, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
mailboxes, yeah. Better increase the budget on the mailbox replacement, right? All right, Don.
I'm not saying I'm plowing.
Oh, okay. All right, we have, Don, do you have about the meeting schedule?
Okay, so other than the two that have notes on the right-hand side, so the first.
Didn't we vote on it?
No.
I thought we voted on it.
No?
Did we or didn't we?
No, we didn't.
Okay, it's been,
Motion and seconded.
and there was discussion was asked, sorry. Thank you.
Yep.
We just did discuss it, and then we got into it with John. All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, motion carries. I thought we did, so, sorry, thank you.
Okay, so the two dates I have on here that deviate from our normal second Thursday, fourth Tuesday is June. I have it's actually the second Tuesday because the Board of Equalization must be held by June 10th. And so that way it eliminates having meeting 2 weeks in a row. We usually have the Board of Equalization meeting and held in conjunction with our first regular board meeting of June. So that is Tuesday. And then in August, since that second July meeting is so late, I thought about switching it to the week after, but then that's county fair, so that wouldn't work. And so there's quite a gap. If we would have it the second Thursday of August, that'd be the 14th, so you can see there'd be quite a gap between those two meetings. And our preliminary budget has to be approved by August 10th. So I figured if we didn't move this meeting up, we'd probably have to have a special meeting in there to get the budget approved anyways. And then the other one that I was thinking about changing would be the December 23rd. There is it should say Tuesday, not Thursday there. I think Belinda used this year's as a template, and we are having our second meeting in December on a Thursday this year because of where Christmas falls. So that should say Tuesday. But we could have it Tuesday, December 30th, and then we wouldn't be in Christmas week that way. And we could get any last minute year-end things taken care of still.
Might still be shopping.
On the 23rd?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ron, you got any conflicts?
Yeah. Sure. Okay. So the big question would be, well, the BOE on the 10th, we have to be done by the 10th. That doesn't give us any leeway.
No, you don't. I believe you have to hold the BOE by the 10th, but if you recess and announce where you're going to have it, yeah, you can have
Okay.
it. You can reconvene after the 10th.
That's where I was
Yep.
going with that one. And then the other one would be whether we want to do it Christmas week or if we want to go a week later, and it's just a little more of a gap between, I guess, and then the next one is going to be pretty quick, following January 1. I don't go anywhere.
January would be the 8th.
Yeah,
in
we'd go the
2026.
30th and then again on the 8th.
That's when the 2026 calendar is. That's the second Thursday.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move it to the 30th.
Want to?
It's Christmas.
Oh, I suppose you got too many commitments, don't you?
There's a lot of commitments.
He's got a gig, I'm sure.
Yeah, he's got gigs. I don't care. I mean, it makes no difference to me. We can have two meetings 8 days apart, not a problem. 9 days. So we'll move to the December 1 to the 30th. Any discrepancy with that?
Following normal schedule, Park Board would also be that same day as well.
Well, we can move that one
We'll move
too.
that one as well.
Commissioner-elect Tokash, you're all right moving it to the 30th? Okay. You're the one that's gonna affect too. Okay, so we'll move that next year, December meeting to the 30th then. Okay, anything else in here? We don't need to move to approve it?
No.
Or anything, it's
No.
just for us?
Yep.
Okay. So then I'm moving, anything else, Don?
No.
Okay, then we have other, and tonight is Commissioner Langang's last meeting after 12 years. I do have one person that wants to come up and say something, if she would like to do that. And then we have something else we want to do yet too, so. And Heidi wants a Thanksgiving picture.
Good evening, Wendy Bent here, HR Director with Morton County. There's not too many people that it's difficult for me to say goodbye to, but but Commissioner Langen will certainly be one. I promised myself I wasn't going to blubber on public television, so I'm just going to stick to my script. On behalf of us all, I would like to express our deepest gratitude for your dedication and service throughout your tenure as a commissioner. Your unwavering support of me and my office has made a lasting impact for me. I also know that other portfolios will echo my same sentiments. Ron, you and I have been through a lot together. We came onto Morton County at the same time. We both grew in our role. We've made lots of mistakes, but we also did some good too, I'd like to believe. We've laughed together. You've watched me cry. You've told me to pull up my big girl pants lots of times. And you told me to buck up and move forward. You patted me on my back when I was doing well, but you held me accountable when I was out of bounds. I always knew where I stood with you, so I'm appreciative for that. You've tirelessly worked for our road system with insightful decision-making, but also with unshakable integrity. You've set a high standard for whoever's going to gain your portfolio. You have always put the greater good first, and your commissioner legacy will continue to inspire us for years to come. Thank you for your countless contributions and for the example you set. We both came to Morton County as strangers, but I would like to believe that you leave with the privilege of calling this place home, and more importantly, of us calling you a friend.
Thank you, Wendy. Chairman?
In addition to what HR Director Wendy Ben had said, and on behalf of the other commissioners here, I also echo, it's been a privilege. Granted, for me, it's only been 4 years, but of course, Ron and I have known each other for a number of years, long before this seat. Appreciate having the fact of you sitting by my left hand, even though you serve as a right hand as well. Your knowledge, your integrity, your support, your dedication to Morton County has been very much recognized and very much appreciated, and for that we thank you for your service.
Thank you.
And we have a small token for you as well, but we'll allow you time for speaking.
Thank you. I want to thank this board for covering for me. When I had my illnesses, you stepped up to the plate. I appreciate it. Thank you, thank you. I want to thank the staff of Morton County. They helped me out when I needed it. I sat across the desk from Auditor Roan and HR Wendy, Sheriff Kirkmeyer, Alan Coppy, State's Attorney, John Sakey, Chad Schneider, and we made big decisions through the years. I want to thank them guys. I want to congratulate Paul Tokash for being a new commissioner. When I got elected 12 years ago, his dad had retired, Dick Tokash, and I got his chair and his portfolios, and I'm proud to turn it over to you, Paul. That's all I have.
Thank you, Ron, for your service.
Thank you.
So, we do need to take a picture up front here.
We'll do a presentation as
We
well
have
up
a-
front.
Yep.
It's unfortunate to say that this is a small token. It's not going to really apply to retirement, but it'll definitely help with at least one night's of activity.
Okay.
But also on behalf of the commission and the people of Morton County. Thank you.
Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
She wants one, if you want to set the black down, she wants one for Thanksgiving picture.
For what? Thanksgiving picture?
For our Facebook page.
Okay.
We're wishing everybody a happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, turkey hats. Right?
I wonder if I got
feathers showing, I'm sure.
You bet, you bet. Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Don't forget to take out the garbage out.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Does anybody have anything else to come before the commission tonight?
Motion.
If nothing, I would motion to adjourn.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, guys.